Good day. This study examines Indigenous housing governance through the Sama Badjao resettlement program in Isabela City, Basilan Province, Philippines. Indigenous housing remains a critical governance challenge in post-conflict and environmentally vulnerable settings, where issues of cultural marginalization, displacement, and urban exclusion persist. The Sama Badjao are a traditionally maritime indigenous group whose livelihoods and cultural identity are closely tied to coastal and marine environments. In response to long-standing spatial exclusion and informal settlement conditions, the Isabela City government implemented a culturally sensitive resettlement program grounded in the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act. This program integrates participatory governance mechanisms, notably the institutionalization of Indigenous peoples' mandatory representatives and the application of free, prior, and informed consent processes. Elevated housing designs were adopted to reflect Sama Badjao spatial practices and livelihood needs. Guided by participatory governance theory, this study asks three questions. How does Indigenous representation shape housing program design? How do interagency arrangements influence outcomes? And how does this compare with broader frameworks? The study adopts a qualitative case study approach using official documents, interviews with mandatory representatives, and community observations. Data were analyzed using thematic analysis. Results show that participatory governance significantly improves legitimacy. Representatives enhanced transparency, facilitated information flow, and represented Indigenous priorities. Culturally responsive housing designs, particularly elevated structures aligned with maritime livelihoods, strengthened community acceptance and reduced resistance to resettlement. However, challenges remain, including resource constraints, limited institutional capacity, and political economy dynamics that affect equitable service delivery. The analysis examines Indigenous housing governance across three dimensions: participatory structures, administrative coordination, and cultural fit. By linking governance mechanisms to program design, the analysis demonstrates how formal representation and culturally responsive planning jointly shape outcomes. Housing outcomes depend not only on technical design, but on the depth of Indigenous inclusion. Legal mandates are necessary, but insufficient without administrative capacity. The Sama Badjao case illustrates how hybrid governance can enhance equity and cultural preservation, despite constrained authority limiting transformative potential. In conclusion, participatory governance and culturally grounded design can improve outcomes. Strengthening authority and interagency coordination are critical for sustainability. This study contributes to public administration scholarship by showing how governance structures shape culturally inclusive housing delivery in post-conflict environments.